profile here.
No, right.
You can stay behind the table.
Bad enough at Christmas.
I got all 3 haircuts for
this. We've done a little bit with it. Well, it was kind of neat. We just sent a video to my my dad that we were out on the beach a couple of weeks ago. We went on Sunday after church, went over to Cocoa, and then went the next weekend to St. Petersburg to the beach. And it's real. We sent it this week, timed it perfect because it got there when it was like 8-9 degrees. It got there like yesterday, you know.
I got our video.
And we're sitting there, you know, eat your heart out, guys, you know.
Step on it and squash it. I know my sister gets so angry when she talks to me. It gets to the point where she'll say, you know, I'll say, well, how's the weather? And she'll say, oh, it's freezing and da da da. And then she'll say, well, how's your weather? What are your kids doing? And I'll say, oh, they're out playing, you know. And she'll say, in shorts, right? I said, well, what do you ask me for? What can I say?
Normally, I guess in the winter they're
Pittsburgh.
I heard this has been the warmest winter in 6 years
Just
or
got
something.
cold this week.
Out on this cold spell that's coming.
They got that cold snap from Alaska. It shut down.
Yeah, St. Louis did too. It was in the 70s in St. Louis last week. And now,
I heard, I don't know where it was, but there was a place that it was 71 days, and the next day it was like minus 10 or something like that. It just fell incredibly fast.
that is
They show people on the news, and I mean, it's snowing and it's windy and it's raining. I'm thinking, I can't believe that. Maybe because I'm, don't live up there. That's crazy. They say to keep on, you need to come.
Cutie mark, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he says, where's the dot? I don't know what it is, you know. So we zoomed it in close up and he sort, and then he kind of like, really is me, you know. And it was so neat to see his expression.
Yeah.
And to even watch him as a baby and to look at Kevin too. It's just, I love that. We don't use it enough. I mean, not near enough.
We use that one.
Yeah, well yours is a
I'm fed up to
camcorder. You
here with
don't have
watching
to.
basketball.
Boring.
I need something to his dad and some of his church that boys got meetings.
Kind of neat
And
though.
his dad says, well, I miss Dallas and Alcatraz, and we're still here watching the boys game.
He called me up
Just
on
have
Friday
one
night and he says,
Do we have
You
one?
just have one TV?
No, we've got two.
No, I mean, who's missing Dallas?
well, this is my dad. He was,
Yeah, we
it was
sent
on
him
a
the
Friday
video.
night and he
Oh,
was
I see.
watching the video. And he calls up here and he says, I only got one question for you. He says, how long are these Boy Scout meetings anyway? One night I went up there and I just did it once and I taped the whole meeting just to see what it was like and all that kind of stuff. Kind of document. It was kind of good. We had a lot of first aid stuff, but it was pretty good. I ended up sending him like the whole thing intact instead of editing it, you know. So he's in there, watch, you know.
We rented one of those when Ryan they had a little graduation from preschool where they wore caps and gowns and the whole thing. It was so cute. And I rented one because it was just so neat. I'm so glad I did because I videotaped, them swimming in the pool the next day and Jessica in her crib and I was just watching it the other day and it's so
You got
neat
something
to
big
have
come
that.
up, let us know. Borrow this.
Well, you always have one too. Yeah, they've got.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
you know enough
sure there's
people,
some-
you can.
Yeah, but I would hate to borrow someone's, if something happened to me, I died. Because then I'd have to buy them a new one and I still wouldn't have one.
They're pretty durable. That
Yeah,
thing's
Brenda
pretty-
uses
We
it.
rent those with
He
insurance.
takes it around the house. He uses it on the beach.
No, we can't. Ours has to hook up to the VCR, so you can't
Yeah,
run the
it's-
camera without giving up your VCR, and I don't think we could live without that. I mean, we use it all the time. That's how we get our stuff. Yeah, you take part of the.
Oh, you got it when they
The
first came
earlier
out.
ones
No,
are-
The
yeah.
earlier
it's
ones?
4 years old.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
before the
before camcorders
camcorders
came
came.
Right. That's kind of what Dad got.
It's called, it's the same as that one right there, the RCA, but it's a small motor, it's called.
It's a small camera, but then you have to take the.
It's actually, is that 6 to
Yeah, on
1,
the side.
Jim?
It's 8 to 1.
8 to 1? I think this is 6 to
I keep
1.
saying, oh, they gotta come down in price.
They did.
Yeah, I
So
keep
we
saying
use
they
the
actually
ours have.
did.
They're
My
really
dad bought the
available.
same exact model last Christmas. I bought the same exact one he did. He paid 300 more, 250, 300 more.
Well,
Are
I
they
paid,
still around 1,000? Because they're around 1,200 to 1,000.
This one they had a rebate, but the rebate it was
Yeah,
a little
$100
over
rebate on
$900.
this one.
you see, but I paid that for just the camera on mine.
But he paid
That was on
$1,200 for his.
That's the whole thing.
Well, I've seen them on sale for like $9. Yeah, in the nines.
Yeah. Well, you can get them. I've seen them 7 or 8 too. It depends on what
Oh,
kind
really?
you get. And,
I don't know anything
and
about
some
it.
of the features involved and how
I don't really care about any fancy stuff. I mean, as long as it makes a video, that's all I
You can
care
get
about.
inexpensive ones, but you have manual focus, and you don't want to have to do that, really. I don't think.
You wanna have a nice
automatic focus
picture.
and stuff.
It's
And
amazing
color-wise,
the
it's just
picture
like
you
anything
get out
else.
of
You know.
those.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good.
The RCA, we had 3 different cameras just for trying. The people allowed us to try. And
Yeah, cool.
the RCA, for my, I thought was the best color and what have you.
Eric?
Good clarity and stuff.
We have our first tape where we tried out these 3 cameras.
Okay.
You know, so you can see the
Yeah,
difference in
yeah.
all 3 cameras.
We had one from outside. You know, the better the light, the better the picture. And we had some outside when we were living down at Fort Myers. It rained real hard, and we had those in front of the house, all those little ravines down, and it would fill up, and they'd have fish in them and what have you. So my one son John just scooped all these little
tadpoles.
no, not tadpoles, but there's what are they called, minnows.
Minnows, yeah.
And they had this whole little pool, waiting pool,
We had a little waiting
full.
Dessert out.
And I was standing back from him, just watching him, filming him do this. And you could pan down, into the water and actually see all these little things going around, and just see the way, the water and what have you. It was good. That impressed me.
You were wondering if she was going to bring it out or not, huh?
Well, after all that trouble, is she gonna start?
It smells good. Is it lemon? Good. Let's put it on that. This is fine.
I got some plates in here.
It's not sloppy or anything. Napkin sounds fine.
you did have company. Yeah. Yeah, you got company. Get the plates out,
Yeah.
Don't have to impress us.
I'll use
We
a
all have
napkin. I'm
kids
not
here, you know what it's like, you gotta rough it, whatever it
Napkin's
takes.
fine for me.
He ran the stuff over.
There's no need to dirty more
We
plates.
have to start using ours more because
Every once in a while.
the way that Brian talks, he's not going to be talking like this forever.
The camera, yeah.
He mispronounces things.
After a while, well, with that it's a little bit easier, but with the other camera, you have to go get it out. You don't like to, or at least I don't like to leave it out someplace. You never know.
Yeah, we can't just leave it laying around.
Brad's one is pretty funny with it. He'll get it out every now and then and go around.
Filming people.
Yeah, he's more witty than Brian.
What we ought to get is
just the things he says, the sarcasm he uses,
that?
the things he says while he's narrating.
I don't know.
He's got
Whitewater
some
rafting.
pretty
When
funny
did you
ones
do
he's
that?
done. That was this summer.
If you don't watch when you're doing it though, you can get dizzy. Review it, when you're watching it film.
Yeah.
Oh, in July.
Seeing everybody going around and around,
Are you pregnant?
you have to have a steady
I
hand,
had,
which I don't.
I knew I had high suspicions there that I was
She
pregnant.
was pregnant.
It was
She
right,
didn't know
it was right before
for
we
sure.
came home. When I came home is when I had it all confirmed. So it was probably about a week later.
We were in St. Louis.
Guides?
No. We didn't have a guide on ours. I was in.
We braved it. I wanted one, but
Oh, that's nice.
that was so much fun.
Well, we did have a good time.
But,
It was a lot of fun.
you
Where
know,
we
I
got
sh-
at? It's on the Nantahala River.
I should have known that I was pregnant because I was so irritable. I mean, I was, I didn't
See, I
want to
couldn't
go
tell
on
the
that
difference,
thing.
though.
I thought, I don't want to go, and he's taking me
Thought
on
you
this.
that about it?
And I had so much fun. I thought I'd be miserable.
Anybody fall out?
No, I came the closest. I almost fell out. I mean, I was 2/3 of the way out of the boat. And
On the back, you'll do that because that's where
we hit we hit a rock. Everybody else missed it, and the rock, we were kind of going crooked, through a spot, and we hit right on this rock. Man, I went up, and when I came down, the boat wasn't all underneath me anymore, And
But you and I were the ones that did all the work.
In the back.
Backpedaling and all this stuff. See, I went on a lot of floor trips. I had a little bit of experience with knowing how to do the paddling, but it's been so long.
I did.
Well, you too. That's how you went back. But I was really kind of afraid. Well, I never went on a whitewater rafting trip.
They're scary. I think they are. I fell out in one
Did you?
I,
Where
I
did you go?
got petrified after that night.
Where did you go at?
Up in Pennsylvania, up in the
Pennsylvania.
mountains. We went on one. And
There's
it's
a
like
lot of them in West Virginia. There's a lot of stuff
it's
down
a long. I mean, it's several miles long,
there.
right?
In fact, we still get some. I still get something in the mail every once in a while. I don't know why, because I never went there to begin with.
What was
Somehow I
the
got
other
the
one
mail.
they had with this one where everybody had to wear a helmet? I mean, it was.
That was the Ocoee River.
That would probably be a good idea.
They have. Well, they
That
have.
one was a lot rougher than
There
this
was a
one.
higher level floating.
And that's the one I want to go on next time. That really looked neat. Now you have to have a guide in your boat on that one.
They rate them by levels, and this was a
That's
3 or something, and that one was a.
four,
5 or
all
7
level
or
4 and
something.
5 stuff the whole way. You know, I mean it was.
Well, I really didn't know what to expect out of this. I never even thought about pulling out the boat. I mean, that never even entered my mind. First rapid we come to, boom, backwards, out the side of the boat, you know, and you know, you just don't get up in the middle, you know, when you fall out. You just have to wait till you get to the end of the rapid, and it's like you're in a washing machine, you know, and it just keep going with the
That's
water.
exactly how they described
That's what it's
this.
like.
This was the only
Terrible.
falls we went through, and she said it's like you're in a washing machine and it keeps agitating you.
Yeah, you don't just like pick your head up and get a breath. You just have to keep going with it until you get to the end of the rapid.
That's not totally true.
Yeah, oh. Okay, I was imagining that, I guess.
They had a guy throwing a rope out at this point
They
here.
did there too, yeah.
And this was the beginning? Oh gosh, this was
Yeah, I almost drowned.
that must have
He
been a
thinks
rough
I'm
one because this was the end, the highlight, you know.
We didn't have any guides either, but the place where you rent the rafts from, they have a little class before you get on, and they say,
Yeah, that's what this
you know,
was.
Well, we were in a guided group. Okay.
Well,
we just didn't have a guide in
didn't
our
have-
raft.
we didn't have
there were
guides at
rafts
all.
around us that did
You
it.
didn't
This
have
is
nothing,
you can have guides if you want, or you can just go down yourself.
Really
Yeah.
high.
So we didn't have any guides, and they tell you that if you fall out,
A lot
just
before.
stick your feet out in front of you, let the water take you, and just use your feet to bounce off the rocks.
That's exactly what they told us in our.
And they said, don't panic. You know, that's the
It's
important
easy to
thing.
say, but when
Yeah.
you fall out your first time, and
But
Well, that water's cold.
if you try to fight it, then that's the worst thing you can do. That's when you're gonna start getting in trouble. And I fell out at the same time she did, and that's what she did. She panicked. And
I
she
did.
fought it.
I agree,
And
I did.
If you
Especially
just
at
let
the
the water
beginning
take
when
you,
you just-
if you don't
Was he
fight it,
yelling instructions
you know, with a
to
life
you?
jacket
He
on, you're
wasn't
gonna stay
anywhere
above
near
it.
me.
You'll
I
be
mean, I
above the
fell out
water
one
somewhat,
side,
and
he
you
fell
can
out on
breathe.
another.
Right.
You know?
He was like way over here, and I was way over there. And the boat keeps going, and you keep going, so he's like here, and I'm over there. And I'm like going, you know, and all I could see was way up on a rock, there was guides up there, and he had a rope. And he kept saying, I knew he was trying to tell me something. He was probably trying to say, you know, relax or something. Meanwhile, I'm getting all this water in my mouth, and I'm having a heart attack down there.
And
And
what
then
happened?
finally,
Did you
just,
finally get the rope or?
no, finally, just the rapid ended, and it was calm. And I'm standing there going,
So you got back in
That was
and
great.
finished?
oh, I got into the middle of the boat, and I held on to the sides, and I didn't let go whole rest of the time. I mean, I wouldn't paddle or anything from then on. I was petrified.
That's something I never thought I wanted to do, and now I know.
Well, I never thought
really
I
isn't
would
bad.
either.
No,
Really
it's
isn't
not.
bad.
I don't even like to get my face wet.
I thought I would have been
Well,
really
Don't do it.
terrified.
Don't do it.
If I fell out in the beginning, I think, because I was real tense.
We had a tough time getting the hang of it, about in the beginning.
We
you
were
know.
like this in the
The
beginning.
first 10, 15
Spinning around.
minutes, we
That's
were
when it's fun.
we were going in circles and everything else. Then it took us about 15 minutes to kind of get the hang of it and get everybody going in the right direction. After that, we did pretty good.
Well,
First
every
15,
time
20 minutes, I was going to say, well, I wish I should have guided this boat, you know.
No.
But it worked out all right.
Every time a rapid would come up, you know, and you could see them coming up, and every time I'd see one coming up, I'd be like, oh no, it's gonna happen again. I would get real scared. I was really
Was there
scared
rough
after that.
parts towards the rest of it, like the first?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
See
yeah.
that? Oh.
They got worse than the first one. I mean, these were good
And they had
rapids.
ropes on all these? Did they
No.
have people with ropes?
No. This was when you went down without a guide, you were there by yourself.
I can't
It took
imagine us
several-
going down
That
there
was
without a
fun.
guide.
I was glad we were in a guided
Yeah.
group. Like before this last fall, they took us off to the side ahead of time, got everybody off, and she took us up. She says, "Now here's how you got to go through this."
Yeah, she
She
explained
says,
it.
"There's a wrong way to do this," and as soon as she was explaining the wrong way to do it, here comes somebody just out on their own like you guys were,
And
and
they
sure
did
enough, they did
exactly
it
what
just
she
like
said.
she said not to do, and sure enough, boom, they both went out.
We
They got
had a-
stuck in that thing, and they're in there, you know, and
We
they're
had a
throwing
perfect
ropes in the
example
full
right
mountain.
there.
So, see what I mean?
I thought it was going to be horrible going through it, and it wasn't
Well,
as
it
bad as I
can.
thought when we asked
Well,
everyone
but we
to
did
do
it right. I mean, we did
We
what we
had
were
one
supposed
boat
to do.
that we had about 4 or 5 boats with us in one group. Their boat turned over and the boat was on top of them and another boat slammed up on top of that one. So they were stuck under there
Yep.
for quite a while with the water going like this, you know. I mean, I would have really been having a heart attack.
I was on one time and the guy in the front fell off in the front and the boat ran right over him. And you could see his body, this hump that's moving back towards, and you know, and he came up and his eyes were like this, you know, he was all scared and everything because he wasn't a real good swimmer to begin with.
It
It's
can
fun
be
though.
scary.
It's great. I love it. I really do.
I
I
never
really
gone
loved
on
it.
one.
I didn't
I like
even want
to
to
swim.
quit when we got out.
I was in the boat
I
one
thought I'd
time
be
when
miserable.
there was a real big rock in the middle, and all this water was rushing up against the rock. So the idea is not to hit the rock,
Right.
just go right around it. Well, we were going down backwards, and we ran right into this rock, and all the water rushed up against the back end of the boat,
Pinned you up.
and it collapsed the boat in
Yeah.
half. Then the boat opened up. It was like a big trampoline. Everybody just went flying. Oars went flying. All this stuff went flying. Oh.
And then they give you these little like cut off gallon milk jugs, you know, with the handles on so you can bail out all the
Yeah.
water. There weren't even any of those things left the first time. I mean, you know, what good's that gonna do?
We didn't have any of those. We
No,
just
we
got,
didn't.
we
Every once in a
emptied
while
our
we
boat
would
out,
pull
picked
off
it
to the
up,
side and you know just empty it out. Everybody get out. Dump
Was
it
yours
off.
pretty long? I mean, did it take a couple hours to get
It
through
was not real long. It
Take
was
as long as
only
it
about
was.
8 miles, and it took us probably no more than 2 hours to get through it.
Ours was like about a 3.5 hour trip.
Yeah, it took
down
us
the rapids.
good afternoon to go down and come back.
Some of the others are longer, but it was enough for us for that.
Yeah.
For our first time
I'll
out,
tell you,
it
it was
was.
the longest day of my life. I couldn't wait to get out of there and land. Get me on the land. I'll never go back on the.
How it's nice is you'd have a rapid, then you'd have a nice calm. And if you're there on a nice day and the water's warm, you can go swimming and stuff in there and not have to, it's not just one big rapid.
Like I said, I really, I went into
She
it
had never
like,
gone on any float trips, Craig.
no, I've never even been in one of those kind of boats or anything. And you have, so you knew what was going on.
I had been down there a bunch of times before that.
Well,
So,
that was scary for me, and all I did before I met Greg every weekend was go on float trips. I mean, I loved it. That was just something I really loved. And I was even scared going on this. I was really reluctant, but
well,
it was
maybe I just wasn't prepared enough for it or something. I don't know. I kind of was in the boat and I was like, oh, let's get going. I was
You
ready
didn't
to
know what to
go.
expect.
And the first rapid we came to, out I went backwards.
See, I
I
find
guess I just really didn't know what to expect.
that's
And it's a shame that happened at the very beginning because,
Oh.
I
That
made
would
the
have
rest
happened to me
of
at
the
the
trip
beginning. I would have
miserable.
been really sour.
Yeah.
Not what you can do about it. Once you start, you don't turn back.
Right.
You
Yeah.
gotta go down.
People were coming out of there with scratches and bangs all over them, and one girl, her leg was all cut up, and
Well, they were the little lecture they gave us before we went scared me. You're not responsible for those.
if you die.
If you die,
Is your insurance paid up before you get on here?
I remember one time I floated with my mom and dad. Remember somebody got struck by lightning and rain started pouring
I
down.
wasn't
Rain brought
with you.
flooding. Yeah, you were. Oh,
I wasn't. That was
might
before
have been.
Happy.
That might have been.
Was it?
Remember, it just poured down the rain. Got out in the middle. It was nice for the first couple hours. This was an all-day type float. And it poured, and lightning and thunder. And some lady out there, when we pulled out, She's had bruises all over her body. Got struck by lightning out there. It's pretty close.
My mom and dad, they're close to my mom, she wears one of these old orange light vests, and she ate lunch in it. She didn't take it off.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
And they were the only ones that fell out of the boat too. She and my dad. And she got so mad at my dad. She says, "No, it's fine."
I went one time where the raft got a hole in it. So we had to try to go down some of these rapids with just half a boat, just hanging on to it. You know?
Then they had to
And
carry
it was
it.
raining that day.
I told you, tell Brad.
He didn't get it.
Tell him I said.
Snuggle bear. Snuggle bear. We got that
He's insecure.
one. A lot of stuff in there. He did spurts. He took it on the baby.
So how many weeks do you have left?
4.
Oh,
Grace is 5. I said 4.
We can do March the 10th.
What's the date tonight?
Today's the 4th. So that's 4 weeks and 6 days.
did you go over with the board?
No, the only one I can really count on is Eric, because he was the only full-term baby. The first 2 were induced. Brian was 5 weeks old. Brad
They were
was 3.
induced that early?
Because they're
Big
diabetic.
With diabetics, they automatically induced all of these.
Wow.
Because that was before they had the blood monitoring. So I have to check my blood 4 times a day. Put my finger and check it on my
Well,
sheet.
that must be fun. Looking forward to that 4 times a day. Oh my.
She would enjoy it too much. She's the biggest chicken.
I could
When
take
somebody gives
shots
herself
all day
shots
long.
all the time, you
Those
know.
don't hurt at all. Those
But
little
that
fingers.
frickin' that little
Yeah.
finger, you know,
They
pricking
do
her
hurt.
finger, she
You know-
hates that.
you know
She has somebody
why?
else press the button for her, you know.
You know
That's
why?
the
Yeah,
way.
it kind
You
of
have more
snaps
sense.
into you now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's like if you go to the blood bank.
Like they have in the
With
office.
The Lancets,
had
yeah.
rock
Yeah,
My parents are black and blue.
but that does hurt blood, even putting it in.
Tell Randy's got a choice.
Why do you have to
He
take
can
it out
get
of your
snuggles or
pants?
he
Take
can
it out
go
of
to bed.
Probably the easiest.
Well, you know, you have more sensitivity on your fingers than you do in your arm where you
Well,
get
that's
blood
what I
from.
mean.
That
Take it.
it
Oh,
hurts.
yeah,
around there.
that's the same one.
I do my toes. You know, it doesn't hurt my toes.
Yeah, she
My
does it with her
fingers
toes
hurt.
all the
Oh, I
time.
need to start doing that.
Ooh, yeah, the doctor's office has those. Yeah, the one
Don't you hate it? I hate it when
I
they do
go
it.
like this
They
and
don't
I
know
won't
where
look
to stick
because I don't want to see when they're going to do it.
I told the nurse, I said, how come I have it down here, it hurts so bad? They have a little pencil thing that they use. It's just a
Well, that's the kind my doctor has.
put your finger down there.
Is
I'm
your
trash
leg-
it?
No, you stick your finger underneath here and you push this and it shoots. It's your finger.
Whoa.
And it
And
doesn't
you have to do
feel.
that a couple times a day, 4 times a day.
And look at that.
Because
It's,
you're
it's
pregnant
sharp.
or you do that.
It's thick.
I do it once a day,
It's like a nail.
otherwise, because
Spoon.
my blood
Well,
sugar
you
is
should-
usually under pretty good
Otherwise you think
control.
they
If
have
it
like
wasn't,
a
I'd have to
razor
do
blade,
it more and more.
almost like a razor blade.
Right.
To hit.
About
So if you have some needles
Yeah.
push it.
Or
Yeah.
how old are you now? that you have it?
right, 14. It's 14.
This
Well,
was
that's how Sharif goes.
And then you put it in here? Is this what you
Yeah,
tested
there's little sticks that you have to put
this
the blood on.
was
That's what cost.
and
What, this?
No, the strips. The chemical
Oh,
strips
really?
that you put the blood on.
It costs a lot of money. I would think they would.
50 cents a
$54
piece.
for a big bottle. This is a quarter of the size. Like you can get 100
100
of them
strips for
for
54 bucks.
54. This is $14.
Oh
Sharks
my
pay?
goodness.
Not anymore.
They did up to the first of the year, and then
Should have been about 1,000 strips.
I'm
How long are they
supposed
good
to
for?
check mine all the time because I have low blood sugar.
with low blood sugar you have to check.
Well, yeah, because
I
it
have
goes down to 57 and that's
That's low.
low.
I've had reactions when it's been down to that.
I don't even
Oh,
know
well, that's
what
when I
mine
was
is.
having bad side effects. When I didn't know what was wrong with me, that's what they said. When
Did you-
Kevin was a baby, dizzy spells and all kinds
Can't
of
think straight.
Yeah, you can't. You go to the store and you forget why you're there and you think you're losing your mind. You know.
I cut these in
Boy,
Boy,
half.
it's tough for me to tell.
It's just
It's so tough for me to tell when she's having a spell, though, you know, because she can't
He
think
had-
straight then, and she can't
Yeah, you
think
can't
straight
Oh, I had
out.
one. I had one last week.
Can't
He
tell
had
the
dragged me
difference.
out bed and give me some
Oh, the other morning was a bad
What did you
one.
know?
a reaction to insulin.
Insulin reaction, and
Why
I
did you? I mean, if your blood sugar drops to a low level, you can't think.
it's like dealing with a totally
drops
wasted.
low
If it
enough.
drops too low, you'll pass out when she's
Like
Well,
she's
you don't
drunk
pass
on
out.
her
You're
rear
walking
end.
around, you're awake, but you can't see, like you're unconscious. It gets really low.
And you
That's
get
when
so
it's
mad because
really
what you gotta do
weird.
is get sugar in them. So you gotta get sugar in 'em to counteract that. And they never wanted, she never wants to eat or drink.
You always
anything.
act
You know,
like
you
the
gotta get
person
orange
is
juice and
overreacting
or
to
coffee
your-
or something
your
and mix
situation.
a couple teaspoonfuls of sugar in it, you know, and try to get her to drink it.
And you act real silly like
She
a
just-
drunk. And then when you start coming
acts
out of
silly
it,
like
you
a-
go
it's
serious
like a
and
drunk,
realize,
you know.
ooh, there is something wrong.
Oh, the other morning it happened, but oh, I just wanted to punch her.
Just
Just like you would with a drunk. You know,
Yeah.
what are you doing? I said.
So you couldn't get her to you couldn't get her to drink
Finally
it?
did, but it was tough. Oh, she wouldn't drink anything. I finally got her to eat some cereal with sugar on it.
And then you came right out of it after
Not
that?
right
It
out
takes
of it,
about
slowly.
At least 20 minutes for it to get my blood stream.
I was late for work.
Slap her in the face a few times and just...
Hey, I've done that before.
He's hit me before. If he
Not
doesn't, I
hit you,
pass
but I
out.
mean-
Well, you hit my arm or something.
Well, if you were to just give her like a mouthful, a spoonful of sugar, would that work?
Well, as long as it got in her, it would work eventually. It doesn't work like just like that.
Yeah.
It's not like instant.
Yeah. If orange juice
I would
with
just
sugar in it is
Pry your mouth open and shove some sugar down your throat.
Yeah, but it's like trying to get a child to take medicine.
Yeah,
imagine,
it's
when you don't
tough.
want, when they don't
It's
want
real
it.
tough. I told you the other morning, I said, if you don't take this, I'm going to call a doggone ambulance, get a paramedic here to do something to you.
You
I'm
said-
tired of
see,
dealing
I don't
with
remember you saying
So
that
I'm tired of
about
dealing with
someone else.
to take this stuff, you know. She was doing it.
Wow.
So what do? You give yourself insulin as soon as you wake up in the morning?
No, see, I take a shot before supper at night, and they had me on, they have regular and NPH. NPH comes in hours later.
It's a
And that's
slower
the one
acting.
that was doing all this. It was peaking in the early morning hours, and I was dropping before I woke up. And so I had to eliminate that. But, I was taking it for some time.
But
I
she takes it
needed
in the morning too, though.
Pregnancy is weird. I mean, your hormones just.
Go all out of whack.
For a while there, I needed it real bad, and now I don't. So it's weird. You just gotta.
So she gets up and tests her blood, and then she
You
takes
test
the
your blood, and
shot.
if it's a, what is normal? I mean, what do they consider? What do they want you at? What's the
What was it,
range?
80?
70, 80, 90, somewhere where they like her.
I don't know, 85 to 112, I think is normal.
This girl across the street, when they found out that she had diabetes, she's 12, and they rushed her to the hospital. Well, she went to the doctor because her mother took her to the doctor because she was drinking. so
Drinking,
much.
yeah, same
Constantly.
thing she
Something
did
happened to me
when
when I
she
was
was that
14.
age.
Yeah, and something else.
Yeah, we do
and then
too.
she
Ours
was-
drink.
Ours
a
drink a
couple
lot
hours.
too. Ours drink a lot too.
And I
But this
checked them
must be
and
to
they
the
were fine.
excess, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, she said she was constantly.
If you drink, you can't quench your thirst no matter how much you drink. And you drink gallons of it. And you just can't
And you know what was wrong also? Her eyesight.
Yeah,
She
she
couldn't
was
see it,
starting-
you know, blurry.
blurry.
Yeah.
Is it in your family?
Well, my great-great-grandfather had it. And what they used to say was it would hit every other generation. So my dad would
I
have
should
been the
get
one to
John
get it.
checked.
So I'm even wondering if I might have got mine from a fall or something, because it was like 6 months later that I developed it after I fell off this monkey bar thing and chipped my hip bone. So I don't know.
Is that possible?
Oh,
She could have injured her pancreas maybe or something. I suppose.
But I don't know.
That's not real common. Though.
It seems like it wouldn't take that long to develop it.
Your brother-in-law
Yeah,
has.
it was found a couple of years ago.
He's probably got type 2 then. He
He
didn't
had
have
it pretty badly. They had to put him on insulin. He was trying to take it orally, but it wasn't doing anything. He's so
But I have low blood sugar now, but they say that what happens is goes the other way when your pancreas quits working, because right now you're overworking it because you have low blood sugar, but then eventually it quits working altogether and you go the other way and have diabetes, and that's what's happened to my mom.
Oh, well, your mother's got that? My family's got it, but me.
My mom has it, and then my dad's aunt actually went blind from it. I mean, she had it so bad.
That's amazing. Yeah, none of them.
Well, I
had it
have
at all.
6 sisters and 4 brothers, so I'm sure one of us.
They say that your kids there's like a 20% chance, but I check them. So far, it's fine.
How do you check them with the test?
Same thing.
Oh, with the blood thing?
What do? You put
You
it,
gotta
take
have
the strip
everybody
and put it in that.
Yeah, you're doggone right. They don't like it at all.
Put the blood sample on the end of
Yeah.
the stick.
Gotta hold them down, you know.
Machine, and it reads the level.
Gives her a digital reading. It's a pretty nice tool. When she wasn't on that till she got pregnant with Eric. That's when they put her on.
This is when they
Now,
first
she
came out
always
with
will
them.
have to do this?
Yeah.
I can't even find these sticks half the
Until she
time.
has
They're
the baby,
in
then
there.
she'll
No,
stop.
she'll always do it. She just won't do it as often during the day. She'll do it once or twice a day.
But now you have to do it 4 times a day?
I had to get up during the night and do it when the first 3 months I was pregnant, your blood sugar level drops so bad during the night.
The purpose is to try to regulate the blood sugar level to keep it as steady
to
as
make
you
sure it
can.
wasn't
So the
dropping
more you
too
check it, the more
As I
you
wake
do
up,
whatever you have to do. You
pass
take
out,
a shower,
the morning
you eat a
after
little bit
morning
more
now.
to try to get your blood
Every
sugar level to
pregnancy
keep it
is
on
like
an
that.
even keel as much as you
Oh,
can.
and you wouldn't even know.
It's a
Wake
lot
up
better
and
for the
pass
baby
out.
that way. When it's up and
Well,
down or high all the
I
time
would
or
wake
low all
up,
the time,
well,
it's real bad.
I'd have to get up at 2 in the morning eventually after this was going on. He wouldn't be able to, I don't know, I'm like I'm awake, but
But you don't
Can't
know it.
see.
You're not aware of it?
no, you're not
You
aware
didn't
of it.
remember a
It's
lot
like
of
you're
things
sleeping.
sometimes.
And you're sitting up, walking around, doing stuff.
My,
Really,
must be very dangerous coming.
we were in the support group and the husbands and wives were there, and the husbands were laughing about some of the things their wives did, because we were all diabetic. And this one guy said, yeah, I sleep so light during the night because I'm so afraid Angie's gonna, not wake up or, something happen. He says, I woke up one night, Angie, where are you? He says, I got up and looked around far. He says, there she was, sitting in the closet with the door shut.
Oh my goodness.
She'd gone up, I think she
wow.
thought she'd gone into the bathroom or something. I don't know.
Oh.
They probably had wet shoes the next morning.
Couldn't find the light.
Yeah. Wow.
It's funny to talk to these people, all these girls, we all know what it's like, and we sit there and laugh about all this stuff.
My brother also had a difficult time accepting it. He feels not strange that we are all together and he needs to give himself a shot. He'd rather go home, I think, and do it than, bring
That's
himself
a nice stuff
Yeah,
everywhere.
she just takes it.
Thank you.
Why? Why is it so strange? I
I
mean,
feel
it's so
self-conscious
fun.
about it.
You wear a bracelet or anything?
I have a little card in my wall with it. Gosh, I had a reaction at the church in the nursery.
You did?
Lisa Ely was in there with me. It's so hard to eat candy bar in front of them little kids. I should have just said, Lisa, I gotta leave for a minute. But I let it go. I didn't get real bad. I mean, you would have never noticed. But I couldn't think straight.
You could feel it coming on?
Oh, yeah.
At that point, is it too late? Excuse me. Is it too late when you do that?
When
When you feel it coming on, you start,
if you eat something, it'll go away.
Right away.
No, about 15, 20
Yeah, that's what I
minutes.
mean.
That's the
it
same way the low blood sugar.
It's the
when
same
you,
thing.
okay.
The same exact thing as low
Because I
blood
went to the
sugar.
bank to open a new account and I'm all fine and normal at home and I got there and it was like, okay, yeah, whatever you say. I mean, I got to that point and I knew I was looking in my pocketbook for a lifesaver or something, I
Yeah,
just
just
knew I
exactly what
needed
it is.
some
You get
sugar.
numb. Your brain
Yeah, your
goes
brain
numb.
goes
So you
numb.
just carry them with you? I mean, like a candy bar, you carry something?
I,
carries
not
some.
always. I try to
Not
carry
enough.
something all the time.
She should always have something.
You
A
just
lot of
feel
times
like-
she
you
gets
just feel
caught
like you
without
gotta
something.
get out of here.
You gotta
You
run to
don't
the
have-
store,
you
or
gotta
it's
get out of
a
here.
bad
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Like if you're sitting in church service or something like that, you know, what are you gonna do?
I kind of feel like that with chocolate. I'm addicted to chocolate, and I feel like that too. If I don't have it, like,
But that's it. If you feel it coming on, and you have something to take, yet it takes a while for it to
Yeah, it's still
come
kind
on.
of
You still,
bad.
you know.
Yeah, it's still kind of
Doesn't,
bad.
it doesn't usually get,
How long does it take
worse.
for it to come on though? I mean, when you start feeling it, how long does it take for it really to get bad?
well, as soon as you start feeling it, you should take something right away.
Mm-hmm.
but if you let it go,
Now, what if
Hey,
you drank
JB,
Coke?
JB.
Wouldn't that work faster?
That's third piece of soda you take.
Work
okay?
faster
You're
than-
taking big pieces.
Candy bar or about the
It
same?
probably would. Liquid works
Yeah.
faster. Hot coffee with sugar works real good.
does it?
Yeah. Any hot liquid with sugar.
Got 2 players.
It takes about 2 minutes.
Need to go and have this test done. I think you're gonna be diabetic, and I was scared to death. I wasn't.
But you had
When
sugar
you were
in yours?
pregnant? Yeah. Whenever
Until
they
then,
do
I
that
never
level
knew to have her. And I gave a specimen, and I said, you'll probably find a lot of sugar in there. I'm not diabetic. But the test, she didn't find any. I couldn't believe
See,
it.
I had that too when I was pregnant
Like
with
gestation.
Jessica. They make you go on a certain kind of a diet, and you have to be on it for like 3 days, and then you go in and have it tested, and they test you like every hour. You have to stay for
Oh, I
like
didn't
3
know
hours.
that. I just had a thing.
And it came out
You can
fine.
leave out your hard
I was
work.
fast, you know, and you can have it taken before people.
Why is that kind
No, I don't know.
Because yesterday when I went in for
Oh.
my
No,
finger,
it's real
they automatically take your blood pressure and that.
Oh.
really kind of
Yeah. Well, I said the same thing. I mean, I said the same thing, you know, because I mean, it runs in both sides of my family, and I just kept
I
thinking,
said,
oh,
well, I'm really
you're
tired.
gonna tell me this, and I don't want to. I can't deal with this right
And
now.
all I had was
Yeah,
a cup
but
of
they
coffee.
said it's so common, and that's
You
why
know,
they do the
so
testing now.
I was-
Maybe your
when
blood
you're pregnant, and
sugar
it's
was
all from
Probably
your
was.
hormones.
I was
That could be
It's
feeling
from
it.
your hormones that
But I
everything is
think
so
it probably
unbalanced, and it gets so they just get so unbalanced.
That
But,
low
you know,
blood
there's
I
sugar.
have, I have
Stuff
low
doesn't
blood,
live in it.
I have low blood pressure, low blood sugar, low everything, you know, I mean, I'm barely alive.
Yeah, you
You should be calm as a cucumber,
Give me
huh?
some more
And I'm the
coffee.
exact opposite. I have blood
See,
pressure.
I've got to give him, you know, no caffeine, no this or that, I have to have it to just keep it going.
See, my mom and dad got what you got.
Yeah.
Both of them, the opposite of what I got.
So, I'll have to-
When I take,
You can tell.
hypoglycemia. And when I
There's
take
some all the
medicine,
time.
it reacts to me
Oh, yeah?
like the warnings for a child.
They're sitting for the hibernate for the
It's
TV.
supposed
That's
to
all
make
they
you
do.
drowsy, that it says in children it can cause
Because they have people that
excitability.
just sit down and
Causes
just
excitability.
I'm
So it's like, I don't want to take
all over the place.
cold medicine or something if I have a cold and I want to go to bed because I won't be able to sleep.
That's like your mom, Greg. She's always had low blood pressure. Your mom. No. But she was like that. If she took any kind of drugs, I mean, it would affect her tremendously.
I like that too. Even if I take like Advil, I notice Advil is just, I mean, it makes me so tired. Well, it makes me sleepy. And cold medicine, I took some not too long ago for a cold or something I was getting, and boy, I mean, it was all I could do just to stay up after dinner.
No, see, I have the reverse reaction to it. It
Oh, you
causes
do?
you to be excited instead of being relaxed, like it does to you know, a child. You know, like if I give Brian Sudafed, forget it. You know, he could be up for 24 hours without sleeping. It's just the way. So there's only certain things I'll take, and only one. If they tell you to take 2, I'll only take 1.
You read the labels on all these things. You know, diabetes, thyroid condition, high blood pressure. Well, I'm taking thyroid pills. I got diabetes. I always avoided this stuff, but my doctors told me, oh, you have diabetes. So I don't know.
What's the thyroid pills for? Do you know
I
that?
had my left thyroid.
Is that related to the diabetes in any way?
I don't think so. Just,
Must be a common thing because Lisa Ely,
Is that called a hyperactive thyroid? Is that what you have?
mine was under. I
Oh, really? Well, what
I think the overactive one, you tend to gain weight.
Yeah. Now, what were your symptoms from?
I didn't have,
You didn't have any symptoms.
tiredness.
Well, she didn't really have any symptoms. A routine check, her diabetic doctor was just going her glands.
Yeah, he
And
just.
he noticed that there was a growth. They thought it was a growth on her nodule.
It was a growth.
It was a nodule on the thyroid, and so they put her on a medication that was supposed to reduce it. She was on that for what, 9 months?
Almost a year.
Yeah, almost a year, 9 months, a year. And it reduced it, but and then went back in, did another biopsy, but he wasn't quite satisfied that it was reduced enough. So did another biopsy or something. They decided they really
It was
thought
questionable. So
it was questionable whether, they thought, well, it could be cancerous or whatever. So they went in and decided to remove it, but it was but not everything was benign. It wasn't anything bad, but they did remove the thyroid. The one.
Terry Hall had hers removed. Lisa Ely had hers removed.
So now
Why
she
was
takes.
same reason?
I really don't know what the reason was with them, but we were all standing around talking one day about our doctors and our thyroid.
My goodness, throat split.
Gee, everybody in our church has a scar here. Why? That's the thing to do. Great.
I mean, I was really amazed at how many girls I've talked to that have had that done. It must be more common than I thought.
I've never really known how many people that have had it. My grandmother did.
So now she's on Synthroid for the rest of her life too.
You
I
guys,
think it's come every
Very
day.
little.
Boy, I could pass some shoes
I think
on
it's
you.
tough
getting old like
yeah,
that.
yeah, it is. That right there is
Boy, he
tough.
does have a
I
little
believe he's
foot.
got
A
a
'em.
10.
See my father, 80 years
Gosh,
old,
my
running around
grandma
like
wears a
nothing, you know.
10.
How in the
He's
Well,
not even
hell in
40
the world
yet.
do you ever get to
Ryan's
that
in
age,
12,
you know?
Well, Kevin's like 12 and a half, Ryan's like
Imagine
12.
another 20 years.
So I have shoes. High tops. Hey, you want some high tops? Everything we have is in twos too. It's usually like Kevin has what are they? Pink, yellow, and blue high tops.
Oh, God.
He had to have the colored ones. And Brian
Skateboard
has the
ones or
black
something?
ones
Yeah.
last year, and I think Brian's are 10 and Kevin's are 10 and a half, and they both still want to wear them, but they can't fit them. You know, they don't fit them anymore.
Brian and Brad were the same size for a long time. They're still only about a half size difference, aren't they?
Well, Bradley was bigger
Bradley's
than Brian for a while. The younger ones had longer feet than the older ones.
Long, skinny
So that's
feet.
what happened to Brian.
They were the same size as him.
Well,
They just passed. What?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that, but that was funny.
that's when you start,
That's embarrassing, too.
that's when you start to
When
feel
she
old.
said they were the same size. It struck me really funny.
Yeah, so it's a tall
So
girl.
my son David,
huge
he has
Brian's
a larger
are-
waist than I do.
Wide and Brad's are
And
skinny.
bigger.
Brad's actually look bigger. 'cause they're so thin.
Well, my 7-year-old is up to here. I think that's so wonderful. I'm like, gosh, he's not even 10.
3, yeah, at 10, I was gonna say 3 years, he'll be taller than you.
I'll be
Taller.
looking at his speech tomorrow in
David
church and I'll start
just
laughing.
turned
You probably
just turned
will.
13
Bradley's
the
are
other
like
day.
big
And I
gumballs.
think his shoe
Oh,
size
wow.
is 11 and a half. And he's probably, I bet you if he got on the scale, he's probably close to
He's
probably,
163.
well,
something.
you know, that's,
That was last
I
Sunday
bet
at
you-
Publix.
I bet you he's 175. Because his waist is about, I think he's 36 in his waist now. He passed his clothes down for
What
me.
size shoes?
Big.
And his legs are probably,
11
his
and a
thigh,
half.
his thighs are
It was
bigger now.
bigger than
11
mine.
and a half shoes?
Yeah,
Well, that's because his body's so big.
his feet are about this wide.
His first pair of shoes, he was 6 months old, and he wore like a 4.5 triple E or something.
Oh.
The guy in the shoe store could not believe that he was only 6 months old. You know,
Oh, my goodness. Well, how much did he weigh? So?
9'7".
Well, that's pretty big.
For the first one, he was my biggest.
Yeah.
They got smaller. I was lucky. They usually go the other way, you know. Well, Kevin and Brian are still up. Our friend Jeanette came over.
I'll show you.
John's friend's mom, and she was just going to bring John Joshua with her, but he had another friend over spending the night, so
He likes it.
she's got 3 10-year-olds and Kevin and Brian, so, and they're playing video games, so you can imagine.
Eric, have you felt your mom's baby kicking in there? You felt your baby?
Did you decide on a name yet? Or you haven't?
He has.
Wait a minute, we're
Eric's the
doing
only one who has.
What's his name? What's the baby's name? Paul?
It's been picked out for months.
Is that what you want to name them? Is that what you decided? I like that name.
Me too.
It's a good name. I bet you can't wait till it comes.
Do you
huh?
talk to Paul all the time? You can hear me.
Don't you give him a little poke and say, hey, what are you doing in there?
Wait till you come out.
Yeah, really.
You get your fingers stuck.
Yes, Greg, the famous question last night.
Yeah.
We had that happen so many times.
My son
I think
does
he's
that too.
sleeping.
I
He
tried
already
to
ate.
grab it discreetly.
He's
But
sleeping right now.
but I didn't know because I had a C-section with my first one. Like, no, it's sort of like that. The minute she was born, I thought it was David. I thought, oh, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
And then
He
I
had
didn't
asked,
tell him
he had
that,
asked
though.
how it got out. He said, how did you get in there?
We got
That
both
was
of those
tougher.
questions.
Yeah.
How did it get in there and how's it coming out?
Jesus put it there.
Yeah, that's all
exactly
it
what we
said.
thought. And how does it get out? Well, there's a special place. That's all. I mean, you know.
What's the matter? Did he have a jailbreak?
Swallow something, huh? It was
Yeah,
little.
jailbreak.
It was little. It's stuck.
Take a big drink and it'll go all the way down. It will melt.
Yeah, it sounded like one of the jailbreaks candy.
Probably feels funny in there.
Yeah, really.
Pills so they don't go down.
Or if you've ever, taken a breath and swallowed like a cert or something.
Oh, I almost did that the other day. I choked to death when we did that. You know, I was driving the car. And I had a lifesaver and
I think that's probably scares me the most at the dinner table. Starts choking, I can't handle that. Right away. I probably do the wrong thing by hitting him on the back, but I just, I either stick my finger right in his mouth, trying to get everything out.
I've done that a
But,
few times.
pick their hand up, turn them upside down. Well, I tell you, it's
But yeah, I know.
it's scary because
first reaction,
Kevin was 4 weeks old when he was choking and we had to rush him to the doctor.
Oh.
Well, the doctor's office was closer than the hospital, so, but it was 5 o'clock. I mean, he had just come in from work.
Oh my gosh. What was he checking on?
Well, they just figured he spit up and it was already partially digested, so it was like curdled. And when it went down, he's a baby, he's not used to drinking anything, swallowing anything solid, and he just choked on it, went down the wrong way. But they don't breathe through their nose when they're that little, is what they're telling me.
So what did you do?
Oh, well, first Dave turned him upside down, and that didn't work. He wasn't crying. He was trying to cry. We don't know, I mean, it was like,
What do you have, a piece of
he
candy?
would let out a little cry. He'd go, and you could tell that there was something lodged in his throat. Like, he could let out a cry, but then it would stop. It would just cut
And it
off.
starts to turn a certain
And then he'd start turning
color,
bluish,
Kind of like when they first come out.
So,
that-
yeah.
that,
I mean, it was
fingers
scary.
blue.
And all this time, by the
How
time
do
you
you
got
get a
to
piece
the
of bread?
doctor's,
Well, the doctor's office is like 3 minutes from that. I mean, as fast as we were going.
No,
We went
thanks.
on the grass and everything. We just threw
If you
John
eat a
and
piece of
David
bread,
in the
usually
back
they'll
of the car. I had shorts on and like a tube top or something. It was August, Well, no, it wasn't August.
Take the
It was
inside
born
of
in
the
May. It
Italian
was
bread
June.
there.
And we just grabbed a blanket and, got in the car and we put
Take
him
the
upside
inside.
down and then put him right side up again and just.
Yeah, that was scary.
That was really scary. And Kevin David and John were in the back. Johnny was 4.5 and David was 7 and they just kept praying, Jesus, don't let our baby die.
Worst thing about when we took him to the first place, I don't know if you said it, the nurses didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
They had to put him back in the car and take him someplace else.
oh my goodness, they made you do that.
Well, the first doctor's
They didn't know
office we took to, well, see, the pediatrician was,
I called 911 and they got on the phone and I didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
just
When-
quicker
when
to get
something
there
happens,
yourself.
You want to
you know,
just go.
Because to have to wait for an ambulance to come, I mean, especially during rush hour and whatever, it was 5 o'clock. And we knew, see, we had family doctor that were DOs, 3 of them, that was just up the street. And then another block over was where the pediatrician was. So we decided to go to the DOs because there's 3 of them, and the chances of one of them being there at 5 o'clock were greater than the pediatrician being there at 5. But when we got there, the nurses were there, but none of the doctors were. So we just got back in the car and went to the pediatrician's office.
And so then we're
You know, and she was there. She was there, and she had a bag, portable oxygen thing, you know, where they put it in their mouth and squeeze it, you know, and you know, he was, I mean, he didn't get deep blue. I mean, he never stopped crying as far as intermittently, you know. I mean, we don't think he ever stopped breathing. He just had a lot of trouble, you know.
So as soon as she did that, then
Well,
he spent the night in the hospital.
yeah, she went in the hospital. She couldn't rest in the hospital. You drove with
The
the
doctor drove me and the baby to the hospital. I'm in her car, you know.
That's right.
I loved her. She's such a great pediatrician, and she's really good.
But then they were trying to stick her. You know, he was only a little baby.
They were trying to put IVs in him because they didn't want him to have anything by mouth, so they could observe him. You know, they kept putting IVs in his little veins in his hands, and it'd start to drip, and the machine would make this beeping sound like it's not working right, you know, and the nurse would come back, take that needle out, you know, and the vein had broken, they'd try another one. So after she finished one hand, she's working on the other hand. I said, well, what if it doesn't work in his hands? And he's crying this whole time, you know. And they've got this tent thing over him, you know, with oxygen line. And Kevin has the biggest eyes. I mean, even a little baby, you know, he has big eyes. And he's just, you know, here you are, Mommy. He doesn't know anybody else. And you're standing there, and he's just, what are they doing to me type of thing. But finally, after the 3rd needle broke, after the 3rd drip broke, he had cried himself to sleep when she was putting that one in. So when she came in and took that one out, and she was going to start on his foot, I said, please call the pediatrician and ask her if you can wait till after he wakes up, because he finally just went to sleep. So the pediatrician said, has he had any more, you know, throwing up or whatever? And I was nursing him too, and it was real hard for me to be standing there when I knew he was hungry. And the pediatrician said not to give him any IV and to let me go ahead and nurse him. So as soon as he woke up, you know, I nursed him. He was fine, except for 3 months we had to keep him upright.
It happened one time after that.
Well, it happened more than one time.
But I mean, one where it was.
I took him to the doctor's office in the car a couple times. Yeah, we had to keep him up. You know,
In an inclined position. You know.
You couldn't lay him down.
Yeah.
Oh, in his bed or whatever. He had to be in an infant seat or a car seat or
sleeping room.
Yeah, after a month of it, I had enough. So I put him. We had a cradle. He had his crib, but we had this cradle too. So I took the bumpers out of the cradle and I put a pillow under one end of the mattress and put him on his stomach, and then I just put him right next to me. So all I had to do was open my eyes, and you know, he even made a sound. But after a month, he had KO reflux is what they call it, where the esophagus doesn't close all the way. So it would come back up and get lodged, and it always came into his nose. You know, and block off your nose, and then you gotta get the suction thing out. You know. So we weren't gonna have any more after Kevin. He was the 3rd, and he was the last. And, you know.
Enough exciting.
Yeah, and then we had Brian. We figured, well, we're all done now for sure. And at 6 weeks, he had to have a hernia operation. I mean, that was another experience. So you know.
We've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, David and John, we didn't have any of this. David had allergies. John was so far the only one that hasn't had anything. Now watch, he'll probably
Now
be
he's
the
the
one.
most trouble.
He was such a
He's the one you
good.
brought
up
in
for
on.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's, you know, he was the easiest,
You
best
remember
little
a 10,
kid, little baby.
Maybe a 10-day was better.
But he was a baby too long. He was 4 and a half before the
Now,
next
what
one was
stages
born.
is it at 10 that they go through? I'm thinking like the 3s are terrible. I just said that the other night. 10 people with teenagers say that they're worse than these toddlers.
You just wait. My mom
You
told me
wait.
that for years, and oh, was she right.
The teenagers are definitely worse.
Yeah,
they just got a mind of their own.
You know, it come to the point where David, I just, you know, he just drives me nuts.
Well,
And
John
now,
drives
now
me
I think
nuts
it's getting
more
to the point that
Now, see, they come
he's
in
just
and out
going
of
out
it.
of that.
Yeah, now
where
they
actually I
come in
can
and
get
out
along
of
with him.
But
You
now
know,
John's story.
now all of a sudden it's John, and John I never had a problem with. You know,
See,
you
I
just
told
feel
him,
the
I
anger
said,
inside
I
you.
remember
It's
when
terrible,
David
you
was
know?
10, I couldn't
But
stand
and
it.
I never felt that way
I mean, I
towards
was
John, but I
ready
had it
to.
to Dave. Now I feel I'm getting away from
Yeah.
Dave. Now it's on to John.
I'll take
I'm
that.
wondering, you know, all the time I was wondering was me or is it a
Now.
stage that they're going through?
Now that
And
David
it's just,
turned 13.
it's kind of subtle, you know, but it's not really defiance, but it's the
John
bickering,
is just a
you know,
pest.
they just pester
You know why
off at
he
you,
punched
just-
Kevin the
Well, that's
other
the way
day?
I feel with the 3-year-old. I mean, I honestly, you
Well,
know,
just double that, or triple that. It's the same deal.
is
You
it
know?
like that?
They're annoying.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
like,
that's real annoying.
Very
it's like, he asked me this morning, could he have a Capri Sun, which they're in the freezer.
What?
Now see, Brian, the youngest one, found a treetop apple juice in the refrigerator. There's only one, and he asked me if he could have it. I said yes. Well then, John wants to know if he can have a Capri Sun, and I said, well, they're in the freezer. Wait a while, because they have to thaw out and whatever. And not 5 minutes later, can I have a Capri Sun? I said, John, I said yes, but wait a while. 5 minutes is not a while. He just. I started to tell you, do you know the reason why he punched Kevin, the 5-year-old, in the arm? Because Kevin was mimicking.
Yeah, he'll mimic everybody else. So it's just,
He'll do it to
you know, it's
everybody
just-
else, but because Kevin was, you know,
And he'll go
So
down.
he
He'll get
just,
out of this stage.
you know, punching.
Because well before he was, you know, he was able to get along with everybody, and he was always, you know, basically a good kid.
We have a feeling
He still
he's
is, but
feeling
it's
left
just,
out. Because see, like, there was another morning this past week where I had a problem with him too. It was 5 to 8, he wouldn't get dressed, and he's laying in bed. But he had come in the kitchen. I was making Kevin and Brian an English muffin, which they're 4 and 5, okay? And I also have to make
Till
their
what
lunch. I work till 11:30 every night, you know. So I'm making their lunch, and I'm making the little guys an English muffin, and he comes and says, will you make me an English muffin? And I said, John, you're big enough to make your own. You know, I got to get lunch made. Well, see, that to him, you
You're
know,
brushing him off.
I'm brushing him off or I'm leaving him out. Where the other two aren't capable of doing it. You know, and he doesn't want to understand that. He doesn't want to get that through his head. He thinks that he should have the best of both worlds. He should have the good things of being grown up, like being able to stay up later at night, like 9:30 or
But
whatever.
also your attention.
But also in the morning, he should have his breakfast made for him and all that. You know, he wants the best of being a little kid and a big kid.
Mhm.
How old is he?
10. You know,
I was making my kids lunches up until
he could make his own lunch. I know.
Christmas, I guess.
David, I still make
I
his
thought
lunch.
that's the end of
Yeah,
this.
she doesn't anymore. They make
Got them
their own
trained, they do
now
their
Well,
own.
good. Well, good. I'm gonna make them do theirs too.
and get their own
I was
breakfast.
just thinking,
They
you
don't
know,
make
this
fun.
baby come along. I gotta take him to school every morning.
Yeah, I could take
You know about my
Your
driving.
baby. Yeah. And with your
Oh,
baby,
and I
too,
lost
that's
my
nice.
ride. The girl took her boy out of St. Luke's and back
Oh,
to.
no. Aw.
Good.
Uh-oh.
Now,
We'll start praying for your driving again now.
Eric goes over here up Loma. does he?
Yeah, I take
Yeah.
the boys in. They have to start at 8:30. I get them there about 8:20.
8:30
sometimes.
sometimes.
Late. Then I usually just go straight over with Eric. I got a little time in between. But,
Sometimes she hits McDonald's.
But,
It's his half
Take
day.
him
What are you gonna do if
yeah, he
you're
goes
the
till
baby?
noon.
Take the
Take
baby
the baby
too.
with Well, you gotta take yours to school and pick them up, don't
But I
Ours
take
are a
them.
little bit closer.
I take mine's only 5 minutes down the road. We leave the house by 10 after 8, and they're there a quarter after. I mean, they don't have to start till 8:30. But Kevin is only half a day, and Brian's K-3, so he's half a day. So I pick him up at 12:30
K-3? What's that?
for 3-year-old. Half a day. Well, he'll be 4 next week, but Kevin and Brian have always been real close. And last year I had Kevin in K4, and Brian was home with me, and he was just a pest. I mean, I thought just having one home would be great. I could get something done, but you can't with just one home because you can't sit down and fold clothes because you have to keep jumping up and finding out where he is. So this year we decided, that they both went. So I picked them up at 12:30, and then Dave picks the other two up.
Oh, he picks up.
Yeah, he gets off work and I'm already at work.
Oh, see, fortunately, Greg gets Brian up pretty much in basketball. Otherwise, I would be picking
A lot of times
Brian
he
up
didn't
at
get out till 5 or
3:15,
so.
and
That
then
works
going
out
back
good for
home,
me,
going
'cause
back up at 5 to get
If I
Brian.
can get out, I'm out at 4:30
It's terrible
or
that
so.
they don't have bus services to school.
Well, they had it last
They do that
year, but
more.
we
So
still.
that's an extra cost though.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it
quite
really?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
quite a bit of extra
Right.
cost. That's
We were
why
up
we
north,
did
I
it.
mean, everyone took the bus. That's
Yeah.
all there was. You didn't pay for it. I mean, you
Well,
just
the public
took
school,
the bus.
Public
yeah,
school.
this is
It's
a
a
private
private
school.
We all go to public, our kids go to public schools, no one takes a bus. They don't have buses to these schools around our house. None of
Well,
them.
they do.
Only the ones that live extremely far. I mean, you have to live, I don't know what the mileage is, but several miles away
Well, they got
before you
buses
can
all,
get a
for
bus.
all of them around here for the public.
But see, our
schools.
kids were in public school the first year we were here, and the only trouble, the main problem we had was with the bus.
Yeah. We had a lot of trouble with the bus too.
What do you
And
mean,
then the
what do you-
bus driver
This
wrote a
kid-
report to the principal, and the principal sent me home this letter, and the man was illiterate. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
Well, ours was, he had an
I couldn't
accident.
It's a good school.
when I
Very
read
good
this
school.
letter that this man's actually driving my kids to school. I mean, just from reading the way he described what went on.
I had to call up.
So,
I wonder if it's the same on the trail.
Oh, probably.
Bad language and stuff to the kids, and stuff, yeah.
Oh, you know what came home with my son last week? I don't know if you all got this from your schools about the drugs that are going around now that are tattoos, that are little kid
Oh, that was
tattoos.
like, yeah, we've heard of those.
Yeah.
I could not believe what I was reading. I mean, I thought, what are they going to come up with next? I could not
That was
believe
a
that.
tattoo you put on and the drug was
Yeah, you
in
know,
it.
Yeah,
yeah,
LSD
you know
or
the-
something.
Yeah.
There's like
Your
3 or
skin
4
absorbs it.
different kinds.
Yeah, you know the ones like your kids get the little things and put them
Oh, yeah.
on.
Well, actually,
Before
that's
they
how-
made them into.
That's how LSD or acid was.
Or those
different
little candies
tab
that
right,
you buy
brown
that
dot
look
with
like
a
dots
different tab.
on the paper.
And
You know,
people just eat that.
that was another
basically.
thing.
Look at it.
I could not believe what I was reading. I thought, boy, any kid would get up with that. Any
Yeah.
little kid. That's terrible.
No.
Do you find work with first graders at school that they're real mouthy, kids are mouthy at school?
Not too bad.
I work in the library and I just can't believe it. All different ages, not just first graders, but.
But it's just like that. Even
Yeah, they are.
Christian schools, too.
Yeah.
Well, I
Not
know,
very
but I
bad.
was
You know what's hard,
surprised that
though?
there's not
I mean, I really,
respectful at
I think
all.
TV does a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know, I coached the volleyball team, the basketball team, and I tell you, I was ready to pack it in. I mean, these kids, many times I sat them down and, there's a Christian school, a small Christian school, and I know most of the parents go there, and, it was like it was an extended child care, for 5th and 6th graders,
So I have to be
and 3rd and
careful.
4th, which shouldn't need that,
Yeah.
and it just like, I didn't know whether they were so strict in school that as soon as they got it out, because it was, it was tough to try to handle.
Yeah.
Many times I had to just,
I think
leave,
TV's
get out
got a lot
of
to
it,
do with that.
send them down to the office, sit in the principal's office,
You didn't have
and then they throw them something.
well, not only that, the dress code, there is none in public
I
school
would-
No,
anymore.
there's even in just the kids now, they're a lot more open, I guess, and they're a lot more verbal. As
Well, our
whenever you got in front of an adult, when I was a kid,
he's
even
really
as bad as I was,
I don't know what it
you
is.
simply
He's
let
turned
them
off
sit
about
down.
taking
Right?
anything right now.
Kids nowadays,
And I'm not
Eric,
complaining.
nah,
They
he's
want.
too much.
But he is just really, he used to come home every afternoon and watch. Last thing goes, plus there's just 2 things to watch. He could care less about it now. He doesn't want to watch TV. Right.
Yeah, but you're probably would let him do it.
I don't always let
I
them
think
do
it's,
it.
my kids watch the cartoon, the cartoon. I think it gets to the point, like, a lot of these, which now should probably be on at 10 o'clock or on at 8 o'clock, ones that Roseanne and different things where, that new TV, that heavy set woman, it might be somewhat funny and what have you, but usually the father figure is a jerk,
Yeah.
and that's that right away, right off the bat, that's no good.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times it's like,
And the kids are
and
smart.
the kids are,
Kids
kids are controlling their parents
Right,
and stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
Any of those shows, Who's the Boss, or any of those, that's on. And I really,
I guess Cosby's probably
yeah, that's probably one of the better ones. I don't even watch that.
we can't watch it anymore. It's so good for
Yeah.
I watch This Old House.
Yeah, this old house.
I watch the cooking show and stuff like that. I don't know.
We
I've
watch
gone nuts about
Frog.
all age
Mike
again.
watched this old
We gotta watch it on Saturday now, 'cause that's on Thursday
It's on-
night.
I think it's
We
on
didn't,
early
since we
time.
didn't go to Groveland Thursday night, we didn't get to see it, but we watched This Old
They
House.
went through an old.
Did you see what
It's
that?
at PBS.
Did you see what the cost of that thing
Is
is?
that where they do,
man.
do
Is it a
vintage
magic?
Took old houses.
No,
and-
I thought it was supposed to be 160,000.
My boys.
It's up to
really
about
enjoy it.
300,000.
I like to watch
Some
renovation.
terrible
Well,
thing
did
kind
you
of
see
stuff.
that time they
I'm
did
absolutely
that
awful
place?
doing junk around the house. and that kind
Fixer
of-
upper.
Yeah, I'm not. So I don't know where they got their interest. Certainly didn't come from me, but they love
Probably
it.
because they don't see you do it, so that's why they're
Probably.
interested. Really?
But they love watching that show.
Yeah.
Brian,
Well,
I
I tell
think
you,
Brian does when
They
he's out
go,
there
they
and
go
do
to
stuff.
extravagance like that. They put one of those Bose sound system in the house.
He gets
I
out
think a
there and
speaker's
he'll
probably
get my
$800.
saw out and everything else.
Well,
and
that
build
Bose is like the
stuff
top of
and,
the line. I mean, that's,
Good.
there's nothing that can equal that from what I understand. And they had that sound system in the house. My goodness. The
Mine did
finished
his own.
the finished plumbing work, the rough plumbing, if I remember, off the top of my head, I think they still had what 14,000 or was it 30,000 to go? It might have been 30,000. The rough was all done. This is just the finish. Fixtures and stuff. I think it was probably 30, not 14.
Well, they
All
still
the-
had a lot of base, but they had radiant heating in that
Yeah.
house too, I think. and
But
they
was
had
it
some-
right? And they came up with this new. It's not a fluid. What kind of was that Freon coming through those lines?
I only saw it this past week.
My
For the heating and air conditioning.
piano. Brad continued to
remember.
play.
It was just individual like baseboard, and just they have a heavy plastic tube running up to it. No air ducts or whatever.
I haven't
It's
taken
just
it up
through
to
radiant
school
heating.
until late this year.
But it's a liquid going
Took 'em
through
out
there.
of
I
it.
It's not.
was just reading about the new Orlando arena. That must have been some plumbing job in there from all. They were talking about the beer lines there, and all the beer from all the spigots and everything in there. There's three sources, and there's like 2.5 miles of line in there, and they're refrigerated. They got
Going
some
around them.
lines going around them to keep it cool, so it's cold when it comes out. And because it all comes from 3 sources. It's not like they got a keg in each of these things. It was just amazing reading. I was thinking, my gosh, what a plumbing job that must have been, putting all that in.
Well, we gotta go rescue there.
She lives close.
No, she lives down 34.
Ooh.
So how did you find
Joshua.
that?
That's
Well,
Joshua.
Lake Underhill, not very close.
Joshua.
Wow. That's even further.
His mom. John's friend. That she,
Oh, we never did sit out on the porch. It's a lot
Oh,
cooler
wow.
out there.
it was good.
Okay,
I'll
thanks.
see you all tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Fine, I was thinking you had some in-laws in.
Yeah,
I
my
forgot
parents
about
are
that.
in.
Bye, Eric.
Hey, later, big guy.
They're staying at
Okay.
let them go home. They have to go up early tomorrow too.
Put your table over there. I have one just like it on
That one over there?
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
But mine's more scary looking.
That
This is
was
something you
that was
kept.
a wedding
Was this
present.
somebody in your family, or did you
I
buy
can't
it?
believe this
It's
is all.
a similar.
We got all this in an
I think it's always like
auction.
either my mom or my brother.
They auctioned it off piece by piece. We
Yeah.
got that piece there, or this piece over here for $15. Because it was the last piece they auctioned off, and nobody wanted just that by itself.
And you like
This was
does it
handmade by the Amish.
This is a whole set.
Okay.
They auctioned
Yeah, we lived
everything
in
off.
Maryland for
Uh-huh.
2 years.
Oh.
So we
And,
bid on each piece, and
there were some Amish guys
You
there.
were
This one
lucky.
guy, so all he did
it's
was
just
this.
veneer though, it's not.
And he had a back order like you would believe,
I
all
believe
solid
one was
oak.
similar to that.
What?
I wish I
Oh, Craig's out driving around.
Oh,
I let Greg take the car out.
also himself?
Yeah, get the other kids away.
Well, we're here for you.
Oh, you're cute.
It's your day, honey.
Got that going.
Yeah, honey. Shocked to see me so many times this week, huh? Three times. Three? You and Lois Marie, you and Greg, and then today. That's 3 times.
Oh, okay. What's this a new week?
This is a new week? Oh, I thought tomorrow starts.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You had to have showers.
I'm glad you brought that. I hope that's that pistachio.
It is. And Eric was throwing. Got whipped cream on the top.
Well, Marianne,
Hello, Greg.
how you doing?
Fine.
We wanted to make
Very
sure.
limited when you get to this point.
Guess you could have worn a gown or something, you know.
I told Greg I wish I could just live in my nightgown.
You could have put it on.
Jordan's going back to the house. I left the basketball out recording and
I feel like I
I
got
said,
bigger than what, last 2 weeks ago? Well,
Did you have it going? Yeah. Oh, I didn't see the red light on it. Is there a red light? Not on this one.
Oh, it doesn't give anybody the. By the way, Lydia got called out of town.
Oh.
Tony ended up in that.
they had a magnified view, and it's definitely a little boy.
But she can't have any margarita. She's got to have milk, I guess.
Well, we know we can get you out of
And you what?
so we know we can get you when it's over with. A big bottle and 2 glasses. Like.
The only woman, no guys around.
I like your T-shirt.
I was just on the phone with my mom. They're coming down the week of the 13th, and she was wanting
Of March.
to tell us what day so we could order tickets.
Oh, yeah. Are they going to stay with you then, or are they
You got
going
a schedule yet?
We're gonna
Yeah, we did. We get the Redbird Review, so it's got all the spring training games in there.
I get through.
Brad gets it. As a matter of fact, that weekend that they're coming in, or is it or the weekend they're leaving, like the 18th, 19th, they're going to be a boardwalk and baseball on Saturday, and here in Orlando on, no, they're on Friday, and here in Orlando on Saturday, then back to St. Petersburg against the Mets on Sunday. That'll be a good weekend. That's their only game against the Mets, too.
My mom worked with Dr. London this year.
Yeah.
Trainer.
Right.
So she said, I told her she'd give her a call. I said, yeah, right, Mom. You have a phone here, toy?
Oh, yeah, that's my toy.
When did you
Like
get that?
at Christmas. That was Christmas. That was Christmas.
The first time Connie was in my house, she walked on the beach and all that.
I know they had this one all. I was laying down right before we came.
I feel so sorry you got these two little parents.
They're not bad this time. Usually my legs go right there into my shoes.
Carrie left his
At
bird
least you can see my ankles a little bit this time.
lines, and I get mad, I'll go in there.
Hear about our trip. We're coming back.
Getting close up for
Greg, we were traveling.
Hey, bird brain.
He cut the divider. That's what I cracked up. She was screaming.
But you know, it's like, she always brags about her grandkid, you know, now every time she brags about it, it's like telling how old your daughter was, they had the baby 2 days old, so I was thinking
I
to
started
myself,
laughing.
okay, every time she's the youngest, be a grandmother. I asked her how old that was.
And then I didn't do it anymore. He just a couple times, you know, I didn't even like it. And then my mother tells me,
My parents would be in another room and they would hear me and go,
What are you doing there?
in another room. How bad it feels.
There.
Like my teeth went
You
out.
just
I
there.
didn't feel.
What are you doing?
Yeah, but like now, my parents go, listen, it seems like when I was tired. They
Hi.
know I haven't had enough sleep and all that sort of stuff. Basically, apparently he's gotten used to it.
Look at the camera.
Oh, he didn't even notice anymore. For a time,
Don't do that,
push
Chip.
me.
You know, I hate
I don't.
I'm never going to get one of those. I hate that.
I talked to my dad last.
Especially now.
Did I tell you all my dad called? Oh, I called my dad. This is what it was. I called my dad.
In Germany?
I always call him once a month. Okay, so I called him last Sunday. I says, hi. The first thing I heard is, yeah,
about it was your mother's birthday and your birthday card didn't come in and blah, 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 blah. And he's cussing me out for 5 minutes of it. And the grandkids, yeah. I'm paying for the phone call.
Let that Mandy.
So I'm listening, yeah, okay. As soon as I hang up the phone, I call the kids, I tell them because they didn't send the birthday card out on time. My daddy's so fussy about getting a birthday card on time. Mine came a day late, sometimes 5 days late, 4 days late. It's not my fault. It's my fault. I says, okay, so fine. So he says, talking about the video, my brother and them, you know when they were over here, they have
I know.
from Florida, every place we went. And my dad says, yeah, he says, we listened to it and we looked at it again Christmas. He says, and you were drunk. I said, I was not drunk. I was drunk. He says, but you sounded like you was drunk.
No.
I was not drunk. You know what's going on in there? So I'm just about ready to hang up that phone on him because he makes me so mad. I says, I was not drunk, and this is the last time I'm telling you I wasn't drunk. Well, whatever, he says, but you sounded awful weird. But you know, it makes me
By the time you deliver it,
it's not Christmas.
At least you got to see it.
You don't fix cookies unless it's Christmas.
I was going to stay up all night last night. I thought, nah. I got so many of them. I was really
really cheap paper.
I'm going to bring John with us. Well, you should have. I didn't even. You can either go pink or go red.
Those are good too with the peanuts in there, whatever pecan or something.
Yeah.
Chestnuts.
Chestnuts.
Oh, excuse me. No, she's talking about the cookies. She's not.
Cookies.
I see.
Yeah.
Peanut cookies?
Oh, let's see.
Did you read the note that was with it?
No, I didn't get to read the note.
Something.
Yeah, she told me that. I want to read the note though. You really got to look for that. Tissue. Oh. Let's see. Oh, that is.
Oh, that's dumb.
It will be cute.
It will be.
Oh.
I didn't know you crossed it.
Yeah.
I should know.
For everybody who has a baby, I always have to make
Oh.
something. But unfortunately, we had 2 baby showers over Christmas, and I have 3 cousins that delivered. So after I finished grading babies at 10 o'clock, I stitched for a while.
Stitch at 10 o'clock at night. You're a little tired.
I go blind. I went and bought this bib with a little panel and it cross stitch it.
Get out of here. I've never heard of that before.
Isn't that right?
That's what I've always heard.
Okay, Connie.
I'm waiting.
It's on tape.
Maybe. I don't know if I had it turned on then.
You don't know what he's doing.
This is from Hannah.
Yeah, and she don't rap too good. I hate wrapping presents.
I do too. I don't like that. Say there. Okay. You never know what you might have.
Oh, what's next?
Kathy, it's not a boy. You're in trouble.
It better be a boy.
I'm thinking myself last night I was going, oh boy. They say it.
Always the boy I never had.
Pretty socks. I've never seen anybody.
Oh, they did.
Oh, how
You those little
cute.
tiny socks? I know. I love those little things.
Yeah.
We don't have that too.
It's like I wanted a baby again. You know? A
They
boy.
start crawling, they don't slide.
Oh,
I'll put a little leather on them. And you have to come across them, I've seen them twice. The socks. They start crawling, they've got leather on them, so they keep them from sliding.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that.
I was kind of surprised when I saw those little socks there.
What size is that? Like a newborn or?
0.
3 0.
I don't know. That didn't turn out as good as I was hoping it would. But
I
had been sitting over there, and Frank, my son, looks at it and goes, "You're making this Mrs. Teenan's baby." He goes, "I feel sorry for that kid."
Oh.
How did you do that? Was there a design?
That waist canvas.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it just doesn't turn out as good. It's never quite as perfect looking.
Thank you.
So it's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2. He goes, "I don't get that 1, 2, 3 bit, you know."
Countdown. Which child was this?
Craig, my oldest.
Well, you did applique bibs too, didn't
I
you?
know. I had gotten that, and I thought, I'll put those little appliques on there. So easy to iron that on there, and it takes no time at all.
It's not you people that have left those, has it?
I said, those are great.
Those are neat little bits.
I
I
love
wish
it.
I would have those kind of things when I was
It's like a knife.
just slide them over and wash
I
them
used to
all.
hate that. Just choke them, put it over there.
Right. They got a big head, forget it. Oh, well, I didn't know if you'd like them or not. I thought, was that like too
Oh, I think
girlish
that's
or what?
cute.
But
No, not, it's not being a t-shirt.
yeah, for a little baby, but I like to do different things anyway.
You got more cute little bag collections.
Yeah, I got that over there, Judy's Country Store, and I keep it at wrapping paper and everything.
She told me you
I
were
saw
in
them
there
in the
Thursday.
Oh, really?
Because I went in Friday.
Hard to boil, something like that.
I thought that was
Napkins, you have to make sure
When
that
I was going to be surprised and don't say anything.
She's fine with stuff.
She didn't say anything.
Okay, this is from Holly.
Oh, that's cute.
It's very.
And didn't she say it's going to be a big baby, but it's going to be an early baby, right?
Well,
They say if it's a big baby.
What's
the sonogram said it was big, but the doctor said those don't
Might be early,
not
huh?
true either.
When did they say?
The due date? It's March 10th.
This
The
is
day after Minnie's 40th birthday.
Yeah.
40th birthday.
How many?
Might be two, he said. What's that, 60 days? Like those houses.
I know. Remember what we used to do? We used to do
red
that. We ought to make those little paper crates with the bows on there. Remember what they used to do at the
Oh,
showers?
yeah.
For the
Make a
wedding
bouquet.
showers.
Oh, no, just for the wedding showers. I
Because
couldn't
that's your
remember.
practice.
Oh, is that your
Okay.
practice bouquet? I didn't know that. So I don't know what's going on. Rip it up.
No.
Rip it up. What the heck?
You can keep the
Tear up the paper, what the hell? Take, what about, take it open. What do you do, put 10 things to stop?
These are the work for it. They are cute.
We're doing this with the little trademark thing.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I've
She
seen
did
it.
that. Did you notice Kathy? I had that trademark on that one too. She was showing me one she did the other day. She goes, I don't know what this little thing is on there. And I didn't want to say anything because I did the same thing. But you could have cut it out before you ironed it on. But I ironed it on and I go,
Oh,
what's
isn't
this
this
stupid little thing on here?
It's not a boy.
That is cute.
It better be a
Better
boy.
be one. They have plenty of boy clothes, that's for sure. The girls are going to be
Good
wearing
stuff to
football
wear
clothes.
down in Florida.
It's cute.
Well, my favorite clothes are Tom's. Sure.
I bought
Well, I'm glad you said shirt.
I bought too many sleepers.
His gym shorts are great.
You know, I was thinking about it too. And I bet everybody buys a sleeper.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's usually everybody does that.
Bought
You
pretty
know?
many, and I probably won't even use half.
Well, good. I'm
That
glad
year.
you're buying it.
Yeah. You never know what it'll be like when you have a baby. It might be freezing cold.
Better be a boy. Wouldn't you be shocked if it be a girl?
Somebody said, well, you're so lace on all the boys' stuff.
That's just painted.
There might be twins. Are they sure there's not twins there? The little girl might be hiding behind that little boy or something.
Rosemary, don't even mention
Well, I'm
that.
just hoping
Twins.
that you could get that little girl in there somehow.
Yes, you
This is
would.
for Joe
I
and
know.
Mary Ann.
And John signed that delivered us.
Oh, yeah.
John.
Yeah, she got signed.
Like him too?
I said, get your butt over here and sign it.
I said, David.
I thought about having this one.
That's funny.
It's pretty bad, job.
Going in
People are saying, are you going to take a shower here or something? Or what? Why do they call
Maybe
it a
was talking about wearing a
shower?
bathing suit. She's going to be a shower.
Yeah, honey says, what are you going to wear? I says, how do you think about wearing my bikini? You know?
Get out of here, Craig.
Shower.
Get out of here, Craig. Poking his head around the car.
I says, I'm wearing a pair of jeans.
How did they ever get the shower? Is that because you shower somebody with gifts and stuff? Or
That makes sense.
Gee, I would have got Jim all excited if I came over with my bikini on.
I tried to talk her into calling this a swimming shower, but she wouldn't go for it.
We don't have a hot tub here.
You know my husband, you know that Swim Illustrated.
Oh, Sports Illustrated?
Yeah, I mean he's going crazy over this thing
Yeah.
just because it shows up.
Oh, crazy.
HBO.
Yeah. He's going to be watching every one of them. It's coming on. He drives me crazy.
That's what those are cute. Well, Craig was all upset because we didn't have HBO because they were going to have how they made sports.
Right, it's going to be on the 9th.
Oh, look at that.
I just said, oh, he's going to be watching every one of them. It's coming on. Even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, he's going to be watching.
Oh, Mary Ann.
Yeah.
Dress my kid like that if I had one. Blue Oscar. That is cute.
These are bigger too. I got so
I
many.
know you probably could use this.
Yeah. Adam, get out of here.
Oh my goodness.
Marianne likes to buy baby clothes.
Yeah, it's fun, really.
Looks like
And
it.
John bought them.
So she needed kids.
I'm sure the little thing.
That is cute.
The bibs definitely come in handy.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that is so cute.
Just don't leave it at a restaurant.
Oh, do you get a lot of people leaving stuff like
For the
that?
first year, it was funny as, I kept them, and anybody that would ask one, I'd be glad to. We've had glass baby bottles and the plastic sun film. So I just get one thing. I've got nieces and nephews that come to visit, and they come in handy. They are.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Once you keep them yourself, you never know what's going to
I got
happen.
next to the door.
Oh, do you?
Well, I feel bad as a little girl has left
Oh, yeah.
a bag, and I kept it there for a year into the restaurant.
They're good, right? You.
And it's got all these little cards with little piggy in it and everything. I give it back in a
What
heartbeat
size
if
is that
something
one?
like that.
So not after you.
Well,
Sunglasses on.
Here.
Card.
Okay.
What are you trying to do? Figure out which end to open first? Is that the?
This
I
end
think
up.
everybody wants the small stuff.
It's a pain trying to wrap things, but I didn't want to have it not wrapped.
Uh-oh.
What is that, 24?
Yeah, that's why I picked that. I like the other papers better, but then they didn't have cards that would match the papers, so I'll get that.
This is
It's
That's where Rosemary is. She spends
It's
a
got
lot,
a match.
she spends a lot of time in the paper towels and napkins.
I tell you, people think I'm nuts because when I go back to Illinois, I buy these paper towels that you can't find here. I love different paper towels. I'm surprised they haven't made toilet paper that's good yet. But I'm a Dutch song, sweetheart.
Are you listening to all this, Jim?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah. You made it.
Well, our prep cook, Steve White is doing it. And he brought me the other one today to show off. And it's so, now I don't know, Dave's supposed to put him on something. So he likes it. What happened? I told Dave, I said, mine better not walk away. Somebody got sent for walk project today, the other one was like, shoot one.
$10. That's a lot of work in that thing.
Is that what you're selling it for? The one he gave you?
Don't strain yourself.
Didn't have that.
I don't know.
$10?
Do you have a knife you want to open it up for her or something?
Why don't you get a kitchen knife?
Manny, go get a kitchen knife. Just,
Be careful.
a straight knife or don't run over
Dan,
It's a golf bag.
I didn't know you played golf, Kathy.
And it's that time.
Yes. Just take a regular. That's fine.
Gigantic $8.
I noticed that.
It's one of those things that you put on that you nurse a baby with. Remember that?
Oh,
that
gosh.
A playpen. You have one of those, Jim?
No, I don't.
Oh, good. Put the little brat in there.
Even the big ones, right?
You're the one that told me you never had one.
I never did.
You never had a playpen? You're kidding.
We had one of those little porta cribs.
God.
We also had a 2-story home. That's the reason a couple of them are kind of slow.
Funny, Jim.
You better be having your own.
Oh, that's a pretty one.
I've never seen it like this.
We never did either. That's how we kind of liked it.
Because you can fold out.
Fold up that you
You can take it to travel.
Yeah.
That's what my brother had when he came to see
Okay,
us.
so you gotta.
He loved it.
I'm not very mechanical minded here.
First time David and I had a baby
Pull
sitting
out.
on the bed around.
This is a real challenge here.
Will you be quiet?
I'm glad I'm getting it on tape.
Oh,
be quiet. It's not as big as some of them, but it's.
But it don't matter.
These little white things.
Oh, that's big enough.
These go up. These little white things. They gotta go up. Maybe.
Not for you, little one.
Just push them up like that.
It looks big enough to me.
Yeah, it does.
And it doesn't have the
big enough to handle.
hard bottom. So she says, like, make sure if you put it on something, there's no sticks or anything. That will go through. Yeah, she's like, if you go to the beach, make sure it's soft or something like that.
Put a blanket underneath.
I know it's kind of neat because you could fold it up so easy. And those other ones, when you fold, they're so awkward in storage and stuff like that. And we thought, well, you guys go back to St. Louis, you could just throw that in the van.
Yeah, that's neat.
I thought it was kind of and bright looking and everything.
Does that make you not like you want another one? Or
No.
something? No.
I don't really think so, but.
How about you, Jim? No?
No, don't have it.
I'm taking a film. Hey.
Be quiet, Dad.
Mandy.
I've never seen any like a fold up like that.
Mindy, is that your name? Mandy.
It's
different.
Amanda.
Amanda.
And you kind of got the name. I thought we were
You heard that? I told Jim, I said,
Super Mom.
Mandy.
Super Mom, here.
Here, should she hold the cake up?
I don't know.
I said, you know, there's some other happiness.
I remember when I was pregnant, I used to walk down there, you know, you had to deposit like so much money. You get the place setting up. He's probably in the bank. You got that in the bank a long time ago. The boys, nothing real fancy.
Disgusting.
You know, I remember I'd walk
Like, let's
We
bank
thought-
and if you
yeah.
deposited like
Oh, I planned on leaving. I wasn't going to stick around. And then,
or something like that. And
what do I got this on?
I was pregnant and I'd walk down there and have like a big sack of pennies or something. Like deposit $5 worth of pennies.
Yeah, this is the
There
first.
we go, there.
Mandy wasn't letting me take a side view there, but
Greg got a real goodie last year.
did he?
I got my big loud
Okay.
outfit on here.
He's been bugging me all weekend about a stupid